Hello everybody and welcome to my Poison Creeper build guide for Season 4. This build utilizes Poison Creeper with Poison Creeper duration temperings, aspect of the Wild Rage, aspect of the Stampede, and Pack Leader resets to do tremendous amounts of poison damage, alongside utilizing Rabies to proc X-Fall's Ring for some burst. The biggest pro to this build is that you can just put a bunch of poison on enemies, then walk away for a nice smooth playstyle when trying to speed farm, and it is a fun build to just play in general that feels pretty smooth. The con of this build is we don't have a dedicated legendary for Poison Creeper yet that boosts its damage and give it a special effect such as Wolves has with aspect of the Alpha. And the build's bossing is not very good unless you have really good gear, and if you were to push pits with this build, you would most likely be spending the majority of the time in the pit on the boss. Maybe in time, a new legendary will come out to give Poison Creeper some burst again like it used to have with Changeling's Debt and Blurred Beast before they were changed. I will say that with the patch notes for Season 5 coming out, this build will be getting quite a lot stronger because they're going to be changing Shepherd's aspect to make your companion skills do more damage for each companion you have out, which is going to give every companion skill another massive multiplier. But with that being said, let's hop on into the build. First, on our weapon, we're using a staff. We have aspect of the Stampede. This is going to give us one additional Poison Creeper and increase its damage by 60%. If we're going to want to go willpower, damage over time, max life, poison creeper damage, and then elemental surge for a chance to deal 11,000 poison damage, which is going to scale with our general multipliers pretty nicely. Next up, on our amulet, you're going to want to have cooldown reduction, Call of the Wild, movement speed, poison creeper duration, and poison creeper damage. Alternatively, if you didn't want move speed and for whatever reason you got super lucky, you could also get ranks to quick shift, which would be another multiplicative damage boost of about 18%. Actually, I think it actually come out to be more than that. It'd be more like a 40% multiplicative damage boost. So you can do that as well, but this is going to be but what I have here is most likely going to be what's more realistic to find, and even then it's just really difficult to find an amulet this season. We're going to be going aspect of the amulets on it, gain 45% increased damage to a set damage types for 7 seconds. So every 7 seconds, you're going to get a 45% damage boost. There are some other options here. You know, you can go like Edge Masters, but since I am spending Spirit and doing stuff like that, I felt like this is the most practical that you don't have to think about a whole lot in order to get value out of. On our first ring, we're going to be going Bold Chieftain's aspect. We're going to want crit, attack speed, max life, Poison Creeper cooldown reduction, and Poison Creeper damage. Now, whenever you cast a skill, it's going to reduce the cooldown of your Debilitating Roar by 2 seconds. So whenever you're going through a dungeon, you're going to have 100% uptime on Debilitating Roar because it's very easy for us to gain access to Debilitating Roar cooldown reduction because we aren't running any uniques on our helm, pants, or chest slot. So this makes you tremendously tanky. Alright, next up, we're going to be going Zafal's Corroded Signet. You're going to want stats, damage over time, lucky hit, and then you're going to make sure that you get your tempering, and if you can find a greater affix on cooldown reduction, that'll be the best. And then your damage over time effects have a 50% chance to erupt, dealing 48,554 damage to the same type of surrounding enemies. And with the way I have this set up, I am going all resist gems. However, you do not have to do that. How you go about getting your resistances is going to be a little bit dependent on how your gear falls, so keep that in mind. Alright, so for the helmet, we want cooldown reduction, Poison Creeper, max life, Debilitating Roar cooldown reduction, and Poison Creeper duration. We want Virulent aspect on that so we can keep our rabies up. Now the reason we're going Poison Creeper duration is simply because it's pretty good for Poison Creeper actually, because the playstyle is you're going to walk up, you're going to put as much poison as it takes to get their whole health bar on poison, and then you're going to walk away. That's kind of the idea behind it. So by increasing the duration, you're going to actually make it, you're going to hit that break point, or going to make their bar fill up faster. Even if you're not technically doing more damage, it's just being on there longer doing the same amount of damage. You're having to do less casts of Poison Creeper because your Poison Creeper is going to last for longer, so it's going to fill up their bar faster. Alright, so we want Aspect of Might on our chest piece. This is going to give us 20% damage reduction when we cast basic skills. You're going to want Max Life, Debilitating Roar cooldown reduction, and Poison Creeper duration. Now this is where you're actually going to have more of a choice on what you want to put your Masterworks on. I would say you can the best thing would be either putting the Masterworks on Max Life or putting the Masterworks on Poison Creeper duration. The reason why with Poison Creeper duration, obviously it's going to help you get their whole entire health bar in poison faster. That's the whole idea behind the Poison Creeper duration. Whereas Max Life is going to make you tankier, so you can kind of switch it up depending on how you're feeling at what point you are in your build and gearing. Alright, so aspect of Cyclonic Force on our legs. This is going to make our Cyclone Armor also give us physical damage reduction, and it's also going to be applied to all nearby allies. We want armor, max life, willpower, poison creeper duration, debilitating roar cooldown reduction, and again, you can also masterwork the poison creeper duration if you'd like to on that as well. For our boots, we're going to be going aspect of the metamorphosis. This is going to give us access to unstoppable. You're going to want resist all, movement speed, max life, movement speed, and then poison creeper duration. Again, I do, however, recommend that you try to get the greater affix and your masterworks onto the movement speed on the boots, because that's just going to help you. Since we're not running a movement speed aspect, it's going to really help you out a lot if you're trying to do movement speed. And also keep in mind with the boons, they buffed the impairment reduction one to also give move speed. So if you're speed farming and you don't need defense from elites, definitely feel free to switch your boon over to that as well for some more movement speed. Also, another tech you can do is go flicker step. These are cool because they have damage reduction on the boots, movement speed, stats, good stuff. But also, each enemy you evade through is going to reduce your active ultimate cooldown by 4 seconds up to 10 seconds. So you can use this in combination with lacerate. So lacerate will give you a 4% damage buff, stacking all the way up to 40%. It stacks 10 times, depending on how many times it crits. So that would be another multiplier for Poison Creeper if you wanted it. Another unique you can use is Tybalt's Will. However, you do have to use this with the Metamorphosis aspect in order to get Unstoppable, and it also would require you to put armor on your helm. You'd probably have to drop the cooldown reduction or something like that and go armor. And this would give you another 20% damage reduction. It would also give you 50 resource every single time you dodge, and it does have 33.5% damage reduction from close enemies, which is actually, again, pretty good. So you would end up getting back what you lost with Cyclone Armor through in the Tybalt's Will affixes. When it comes to Uber Uniques, Andariel's Visage is actually really insane because we do go attack speed, we do poison. The only issue with this is that you lose the ranks to Poison Creeper and that it kind of becomes an Andariel's build almost whenever you put it on. However, if you do find one and you don't have like a super good helm that has a bunch of ranks to Poison Creeper, I would recommend putting this thing on if you do end up finding one because it's very, very good this season. And we have a lot of general damage increasers that are going to make Andariels do even more damage, which is pretty nice. All right, and lastly, we have Ring of Starless Skies. Because we do use Pulverize and we do spend Spirit, we can actually proc this, and this will be another 50% damage bonus. You would have to drop either your Bold Chieftains or your X-Falls. And here's the thing, you might be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose my Poison Creeper cooldown reduction. That's more so ran just because that's really the only thing you can run. You're actually going to be relying far more on your pack leader resets than you are going to be, having enough cooldown reduction to get Poison Creeper down, because you can only get it down to 5 seconds, and that's if you have really good cooldown reduction rolls on every piece of gear. So you're going to find that the majority of the time when you're pressing Poison Creeper, you're still relying on Pack Leader, which means it's not like a huge deal for you to lose the Temperings, especially when you consider you're going to lose, 300% Poison Creeper damage from the second Tempering on it for 50% multiplicative increased damage, right? So it's definitely worth it. It also has Lucky Hit and Crit Chance on it, which is super good for our Zafals. It's also really good for our Pack Leader because it is giving us the crit we need, right? For skills, we want to go Claw, Enhanced Claw, Wild Claw. This has a 50% chance to attack twice on top of an attack speed built into it. So this is also has a 50% Lucky Hit coefficient. So this is going to reset your Pack Leader like mad. Then we're going to go Pulverize, Enhanced Pulverize, Primal Pulverize. This is going to give you 20% reduced damage for 4 seconds whenever you hit things with it. Then we're going to go Predatory Instinct, Iron Fur, and then we're going to go Gate Movement Speed, and this is going to give you 9% damage reduction when you're Werebear. And the cool thing about this is it lasts for 3 seconds after, and you're going to be shifting a lot back and forth, so you'll be able to keep both those up. Then we have Cyclone Armor, Enhanced Cyclone Armor, Preserving Cyclone Armor, so you get some nice damage reduction every 10 seconds. And then also, if you do find a chest piece that has all defensive skills on it, that's really not bad. For this build, if you're running just the pants without any uniques here, you really only need, I think maybe 4, like just the +4. So, and with the plus all skills, once you get this up to 12, I think it actually does go up to 3 or 4. So you should be able to keep up your debilitating roar on top of getting a little bit of extra juice from this as well because of the cyclonic force. So we have Ancestral Fortitude, Vigilance. This is going to give you 15% damage reduction after using a defensive skill, which is nice because you're going to be able to use this pretty much like every 4 to 6 seconds. So you really should never drop your Vigilance. Then we have Call the Wild, Poison Creeper, Enhanced Poison Creeper, and Ferocious Poison Creeper. So this increases its duration. And notice, and this is actually a good, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Demonstration of like what happens to damage. So if you do this, right, goes, oh wait, it's not actually showing any damage, is it? Oh yeah, it does. Okay, yeah. So if you do this, it says, immobilizing them and poisoning them for 396.9% damage over 3 seconds, or you turn it on and it says 793.6% damage over 6 seconds. That's why we're running the duration. It's not that it increases the tick damage per se, but it does increase, just like, I guess, how much poison damage is going to be on them overall, so you can actually just walk away and they should die. Then we're going to go Mending. So this was actually just buffed to give 12% max life. That's the reason why we take it. So while we're in Werebear form, we're just going to have more life. Then we have Rabies, Enhanced Rabies, Natural Rabies, just so it spreads faster. Neurotoxins, so they are slowed. So if we have anything that relies on being CC'd, we can get the extra damage from it. And then Defensive Posture also was buffed. So now you have you get more fortified from everything, but you also get 9% damage reduction while fortified. So even more damage reduction. Then we have Quick Shift. This is going to give us 24% increased damage while shifting back and forth. And then Heightened Senses. This is going to give us 12% DR and 12% movement speed as long as we keep both of these buffs up, which should be pretty easy because with all the buffs we're managing, you pretty much just want to be changing in and out of every form every 1 to 3 seconds. So you're just shifting always. Like whenever I'm playing this, I literally claw, pulverize, claw, pulverize, claw, pulverize. That's pretty much what I do. So Natural Fortitude. Whenever you shapeshift, this is going to be pretty big. It's going to give you a ton of fortify, especially since you get 15% more from this. And on top of that, you also get fortified for 22% of your max life there, so you should be fortified quite a lot. And then Bestial Rampage, after being a werebear for 2 seconds, get more damage, and then after being a werewolf, you get more attack speed. And because of this, your companions get double the bonus from that, so they're going to get 100%, which is pretty sweet. For boons, you're going to want Wariness, Iron Feather, Scythe Talons, Pack Leader, and Masochistic. Alright, so let's hop on into the Paragon here. Now this is a level 100 Paragon board, so if you are leveling up, the first two glyphs you want to try to get to, so you can just go into whatever board's going to give you that 25 first, is going to be Tracker, and then Tracker, Wilds, and Bane they're actually all kind of equally important. I think Bane's probably the last one you want to get just because it's only a 15% chance, but Tracker's really cool because it increases the poison damage by 40%. Wilds is really cool because it gives the passive damage a 130% multiplicative damage amp, and it also is a very large amount of additive damage. So getting this early on when you don't have a lot of additive damage yet, it's really good. But anyways, moving right along here, so we want Keeper. Gives us 10% increased non-physical damage. It gives us Resist All. It gives us extra willpower, extra damage. Good stuff. Just really, really solid stuff here. Then we want Tracker. This is going to make our poisoning damage effects last 40% multiplicatively longer, which is really cool when you think about how it interacts with the Poison Creeper duration here, since this is multiplicative. So this is making, the Poison Creeper duration get even more juice whenever we're stacking it. So that's pretty solid. Damage to poisoned enemies, damage reduction from poisoned enemies. And then come up here, pick up Heightened Malice. So while there's 3 or more poisoned enemies, you deal 45% increased damage. Pretty solid. I really wish they would buff this and change this so you could actually have this up all the time. I think that's actually one of the major gripes I have about the Paragon boards for Druid is, if you compare it to like Rogue and all these other leaderboards, Heightened Malice is like, in my opinion, kind of weak comparatively. It is a 45% damage amp, but like other classes are able to keep their bonuses up virtually all the time, whereas we have to have 3 things around us, which kind of sucks. Anyways, moving right along, come up here, pick up Territorial, mainly doing this for the damage reduction, and then I do pick up a little bit of extra dexterity here, but it's actually just so I can make sure that I get this. Like, whenever I was done with the Paragon board, I was like 20 short, so I went and adjusted the Paragon just to try to get this last bonus, get that last 4% max life. Then come over here, we get some Resist All. If you are lacking Resist All for any reason, Constricting Tendrils is really cool because it has 2 Resist All nodes like very close together. So if you're ever lacking Resist All, go into Constricting Tendrils and just pick these up, and that'll be a pretty nice way to do it. And there's also a lot of like max life things here. Just generally speaking, there actually is some pretty good stuff in Constricting Tendrils. It's definitely one of my favorite Paragon boards in terms of like the secondary stuff that you can get in it. All right, moving right along over into Inner Beast. So Inner Beast is cool. Going to pick up some max life here. Then we're going to pick up a little bit of armor, which that's one thing that kind of sucks is we are a little overcapped on armor, but can't really help it. You kind of have to pick it up. Come over here, Wilds. Up here, get some extra attack speed. Then you get like 10% extra attack speed or 8% or something like that. We're all said and done from that. Then come over here, pick up Ancestral Guidance. Since we are using Pulverize, we do pick this up. This gives us a 30% damage amp. Don't worry too much about like timing anything. Just keep using your stuff naturally, and you'll get the damage increase normally. And then come down here, we have Bane. So this is going to give our poison damage effects of a 15% chance to deal double the amount of damage over their duration. So pretty solid. This did actually get buffed. I really wish they would buff this maybe a little bit more. But, you know, who knows, maybe in the future they will do that. But all right, that's going to do it for the Paragon. And also keep in mind that the reason why I have this stuff that I choose, especially when it comes to these resist all nodes, it really plays a factor in getting this. So when it comes at least to the resist all, I would try to copy this as close as you can just to make sure that your resistances are right, because I'm a little technical about how I do my resistances. All right, guys. But anyways, that's going to do it for the video. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.